Welcome back. Now, a new campaign has just been launched to create further awareness and understanding of dementia in Ireland. The Dementia Understand Together campaign tells the stories of a number of people who are living with the illness.
We're joined now by Dr. Ronan Glynn, who's taking part in the campaign, and Fiona Lang, whose dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2010. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, guys.
Thank you for joining us. Fiona, can I come to you first, and maybe you'll tell us a little bit about your dad, Paul, because he was diagnosed, as we mentioned there, in 2010. So what were the early indicators?
Well, he was diagnosed in 2010, and I'd say he had kept it under wraps for a good bit before that. Mm-hmm. The early symptoms were, forgetting to pass on phone messages, forgetting where he'd parked his car, losing the keys, the usual things like that. But then it developed from that to totally forgetting where he parked the car, and then ending up getting fines because he didn't have money in the car to pay the ticket. And then different things. His memory was going, he'd repeat the same things, he'd ask you the same questions over and over again. Okay. So they were the early stages, yeah.
And at what point did alarm bells ring for you and the rest of the family? Were you thinking this has gone up a stage now?
Yeah, I suppose it was when he started to lose the car. Yeah. He would be very particular about his car. He drives a Subaru, and that was his little baby. And, and then he'd be getting a few scratches on it, and then he wouldn't turn up for appointments and stuff like that. So we kind of thought maybe we need to get him checked out. It's not just, as we thought it was an old age thing, but it's not. And
because he's 82 now, is he?
He's 82 now. Very, very physically fit. If you saw him, you wouldn't think there was a thing wrong with him. Yeah. But it's mentally, his memory isn't good.
He looks fantastic.
He is,
fine looking man.
And that's your mum, Frances, with him?
That's my mum, Frances, yeah. And a lot falls on the carer. And my mum would look after Dad. He's still at home. And
you live close by?
I live close by, just 5 minutes down the road. But for her, it's 24/7. Okay. And that's the thing. Dad is happy. He's happy in his own little bubble. If he sees Mum or I'm around or whatever, he's happy, he feels secure. But
so he knows who you are?
At the moment, sometimes he thinks I'm Mum. Okay. If she's not there, he thinks I'm his wife, which is fine. He knows there's a connection. And that's the thing that I would also say for people. Don't be worried about seeing somebody with dementia. They will know there's a connection. They may not know your name.
They just can't join the dots.
They can't join the dots.
They know there's something there.
Yes, exactly.
They do know that you're family or that you're close.
For example, now my brother, he lives over in Germany, so we wouldn't be home very often. And we went out one night, he came over for a visit, and Dad said to me, thinking I was his wife at the time, and he said, "Who's that lad over there?" And I said, "Well, you tell me." And he said, "I don't know his name, but I know him, and I know I love him." And that's a huge thing, and my brother, I've never told him that story, but it's a real thing. Dad knows there's a connection there. He may not know what the connection is, but he knows that he cares about that person. And he may forget your name, what you do, but he knows, he remembers the feeling.
It must be very, very difficult for your mum, because she's 24/7.
It's extremely difficult, and she won't mind me saying she's getting on a bit herself. But it is 24/7, and it's not that you just forget things. I like to say, it's more you lose the ability. Like Mum now would have to look after, we have a person who comes in to help her, but like he can't shave himself anymore. He doesn't know when he's hungry. He wouldn't know how to dress himself in the right order. He wouldn't know it's night time now, I need to go to bed. He'll get up in the night and he'll be wandering around. So she can never relax. She has to think for herself and think for him.
Think for him as well. Yeah. And it's not like the job ever ends.
No, it's not like you get a break.
No, there's no day off.
No, there's not. And also, like, Dad would have been in charge of the finances and the household stuff and all that. Mum hadn't a clue, and she wouldn't mind me saying that, she still doesn't. Because a lot of it is online now.
Of course.
So I come and I help from that. And then Dad can't drive anymore. Mum never learned how to drive. So, they're quite isolated in the house, and things can get very, very lonely. But I would say to people out there...
And none of that would be unique to a couple of that age.
No. But don't stop visiting. They need support. They need somebody there to come in, drop in.
And that's what the campaign is all about. Ron, we might come to you. Does this represent a textbook case in terms of dementia and progression for you? Is it a common?
So I guess what Fiona has described is what you could say it's a textbook case, but I think very importantly, there's 55,000 people living with dementia across the country, and each of those people will experience it in their own unique way. And yes, absolutely, for the majority of people, the primary symptom is memory loss. Yeah. But for many others, it can be a change in personality. They might suddenly find that they're getting lost in what should be familiar environments. So it's not always memory loss as the initial distinctive feature. There's other signals and
other keys.
But what is certainly textbook about what Fiona is describing is the impact on carers. Yeah. And that is what this campaign is all about. It's really about trying to start conversation. It's trying to get people across the country to understand that dementia is just one more condition like cancer and heart disease. We're not afraid to talk about those. We're not afraid to engage with people who've been given one of those diagnoses. But unfortunately, people with dementia and their carers, there's 180,000 people who either have cared for someone in the past or are currently caring for someone with dementia in the country. And what they've told us is that one of the worst things about dementia is the isolation that they feel, that they and the person with dementia get shut off from the rest of their communities. And so the campaign is really about that.
Are people assuming, as you mentioned, Fiona, that he can't remember me, she can't remember me, so there's little point in going to see the person?
Yes, I would say so.
There's that, and there's also just not knowing how to process or cope with it ourselves, and then we get a bit selfish about the visit, I suppose.
Yeah, and they feel kind of embarrassed of, you know, maybe they might insult somebody, but my dad's not going to remember that. He's going to remember the feeling that somebody came. My mum is going to realise that somebody's here to support, you know, and interact, communicate with them, because it's a horrendous disease, but the loneliness and isolation adds to that. And because of that, myself and my friend Elaine Harding, we set up a group, a carers support group, because we felt like Elaine's dad has Alzheimer's as well as my own dad, and we just felt that the patient with dementia or the person with dementia is looked after to a certain extent by the carer, but the carer needs help and support.
Yeah. It's restoring that sense of community, which is a great quote.
They go and enjoy songs from the 50s and the 60s.
We started off with a group called Greystone's Dementia Friends, and we've now changed it to Greystone's Alzheimer Friends, because people would look more for Alzheimer's than dementia.
Okay.
And we just started up from that a music group called Memory Lane Music Group, and we have 30 people, and they all sing and dance, and they become so alert and full of joy and
vigour.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And they're key moments for people, aren't they?
They are, and you know, there's groups like that all across the country, and very often people who are in this position aren't aware of what's going on around them.
They wouldn't realise.
And that, again, that's a key part of the campaign. So we have a website, it's understandtogether.ie, and if people go there, there's training for people who are caring for people with dementia. There's a service finder, so you can find out what's in your area, what's in your county, so you can find other people in your situation, talk to them, attend groups like that. It's really about helping people to engage with the community that's around them.
And to let them know that there is a network of support.
They're not alone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so important. Guys, thank you. It's such
Thank
a
you so much for
personal
coming
thing
in.
to talk about. So well done.
Thank you.
And thanks, Ronan.